What a Wife Hears When the World Gets Smaller by Tony Angelo. Marla didn't usually call her friends before her husband got home. She didn't usually do anything before he got home. That was the problem. Retirement had turned their house into a shrinking box, and she had become something like a ghost inside it, drifting, quiet, careful not to disturb the air. But tonight the walls felt closer than usual. The silence had a pulse, and the letter lay open on the kitchen table like a wound. She dialed Lydia first. Lydia always answered on the second ring, as if she'd been waiting for something to happen. "Marla, you okay?" "No," Marla said. "I don't think I am." "What happened?" "It's about the house," Marla whispered, though she was alone, "and about him, and about everything." A pause. Lydia's breath crackled through the line. "Put me on speaker," Lydia said. "Call Janine. We're doing this together." Marla hesitated. She didn't want to involve them. She didn't want to say the things she'd been thinking, but she also didn't want to be alone with the letter. She added Janine to the call. "What's going on?" Janine asked, her voice bright and sharp, the way it always was when she sensed trouble. Marla stared at the letter again. Final notice. Property reassessment and downsizing options mandatory response required. "It came today," Marla said. "The reassessment, the one he said wouldn't happen." "Oh God," Lydia murmured. Janine exhaled hard. "How bad?" "They want us to downsize immediately. They're calling it a retirement phase adjustment." "That's just a polite way of saying they're pushing you out," Janine said. Marla swallowed. "He doesn't know yet." "Where is he?" Lydia asked. "On his way home." "How long do we have?" Janine said. Marla checked the clock. 15 minutes, maybe less. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of worry, of calculation, of the things none of them wanted to say out loud. "You knew this was coming," Lydia said gently. "You've been saying for months that the house felt too big." "It's not the size," Marla said. "It's the memories. They echo. They don't settle. Every room reminds him of something he lost." "His job," Janine said. "His identity," Lydia added. "His control," Marla whispered. She didn't mean to say that last part. It slipped out like a confession. "Marla," Lydia said slowly, "has he been different?" Marla laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. "He's been retired." "That's not an answer," Janine said. "He's been watching me," Marla said. "Not in a scary way, just observing, like he's trying to figure out what I do all day, like he's trying to measure how much space I take up." "That's what happens when someone loses their sense of purpose," Lydia said. "They start auditing everyone else's." "He's not dangerous," Marla said quickly. "He's just lost." "Lost people can still hurt you," Janine said. Marla didn't respond. She didn't want to think about that. She didn't want to think about the way he'd been pacing lately, or the way he'd been talking to himself in the garage, or the way he'd been waking up in the middle of the night to check the locks. She didn't want to think about the way he'd said just last week, "If they try to take this house from me, they'll regret it." "What exactly does the letter say?" Lydia asked. Marla read it aloud, her voice trembling. "Due to recent demographic adjustments and resource redistribution, your property has been selected for downsizing. You will be relocated to a smaller residence within the district. Failure to comply will result in reassessment penalties." "Penalties?" Janine said. "What kind of penalties?" Marla flipped the page. "Loss of pension benefits, suspension of utilities, mandatory review of retirement privileges." "Retirement privileges?" Lydia repeated. "That sounds like a threat." "It is," Marla said, "and he'll see it that way." "Then you need to tell him before he finds it himself," Janine said. Marla shook her head. "You don't understand. He's been waiting for this letter. He said it would prove everything he's been saying." "What's he been saying?" Lydia asked. "That they're watching us," Marla said. "That the downsizing program isn't about space. It's about control. He thinks they're testing obedience." Janine groaned. "He's been reading those forums again, hasn't he?" Marla nodded. "Every night. He says the government wants to see who will give up their homes quietly." "And you think he'll fight it?" Lydia asked. Marla looked at the clock again. "He'll do worse than that." The sound of tires on gravel made her flinch. "He's here," she whispered. "Marla," Lydia said, "listen to me. You don't have to face him alone. Put the letter away. Pretend you haven't seen it." "I can't," Marla said. "He'll know." "Then hide it," Janine said. "Hide it somewhere he won't look." Marla's eyes darted around the kitchen. The clock ticked louder. The letter seemed to glow under the lamplight. "I'll call you back," she said, and hung up. The front door creaked open. "Marla?" His voice was calm, but too calm, the kind of calm that meant he was already angry. "In here," she said. He stepped into the kitchen, still wearing his jacket, his face pale from the cold. He looked at the table, at the letter, at her. "What's that?" She tried to speak, but her throat closed. He picked up the letter. His eyes moved across the page. His jaw tightened. "So it's true," he said. "Please don't. They're coming for us." He said, "I told you." "It's just a reassessment," she said. "Everyone gets one." He laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Everyone who obeys." "Don't start," she said softly. He turned to her. "You think I'm crazy. I think you're scared." He slammed his hand on the table. The letter fluttered. The keys rattled. "They want to take everything we built," he said. "Everything I worked for." "They're not taking it," she said. "They're just asking us to move." He stared at her. "You already knew." She froze. "You opened it," he said. "You read it before I got home." "I wanted to protect you," she said. "Protect me?" He laughed again. "From what?" "From yourself," she whispered. He stepped closer. The air between them felt electric. "You've been talking to them," he said. "Haven't you?" "To who?" "The reassessment board, the neighbors, the ones who already moved." "No," she said. "I haven't." He leaned in. "You've been making calls." Her heart stopped. "How do you know that? I heard you." He said, "I heard you talking." She realized then that he had been listening, not just watching, but listening. The phone calls, the whispers, the way she lowered her voice when she spoke to Lydia and Janine. "You don't understand," she said. "I was scared. So you called them instead of me." "They're my friends. They're spies," he said. Marla backed away. "You're not making sense." He smiled. "I'm making perfect sense. They want to downsize us because they think we're too big, too loud, too independent, and you've been helping them. That's not true." He picked up the letter again. "It's all here. Resource redistribution, compliance review. You think that's about houses? It's about people." "Please," she said, "you're frightening me." He paused. His expression softened, almost. "I don't want to frighten you, Marla. I just want you to see." "See what?" "That the world's getting smaller," he said. "And when it gets small enough, there won't be room for both of us." The phone rang. Marla jumped. He didn't move. "Don't answer it," he said. "It might be Lydia," she said. "Exactly." The phone kept ringing. The sound filled the room like a heartbeat. She reached for it. He grabbed her wrist. "Don't," he said. "Let go," she whispered. The phone stopped ringing. The silence that followed was worse. He released her. "You think I'm paranoid." "I think you're hurting," she said. He nodded slowly. "Maybe I am prosody,